boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma classes, all Buddhist youths, parents, grandparents, and teachers of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma classes. A very good morning to all of you. May you all be well and happy. Now, today we are going to do a lesson which is quite important. Is titled Learning Life Lessons from Proverbs. Now, firstly, I think you should know by now what is meant by life lessons. These are lessons or teachings which will help us in our life to be able to live more peacefully, more wisely, and more happily. So these are very important things in life that we have to learn, life lessons. And Proverbs, I think you have heard of Proverbs. They are actually wise sayings from different countries, and they have been around for many, many years. And these wise sayings are very, very important for us to live a life that is happy, peaceful, and very, very good. So you probably have heard of many, many proverbs like prevention is better than cure, don't cry on spilled milk, Rome wasn't built in a day, and so many, thousands of proverbs. So we are going to pick around 12 and then to explain the meaning, to give examples, and then also to discuss the life lessons or Dhamma messages that we can learn from these proverbs. So as usual, we will launch the PowerPoint. But before that, I'll take off my photo. It's not important. So now let me stop the video for my photo. And now, as usual, we will launch the PowerPoint. That is the cover slide showing various proverbs. But we won't be looking at these in detail. We will go to the 12 selected ones because of time factor. Now, of course, these two animated images show very good students who are very keen to read, who are very keen to learn. And reading is very, very important, as you know. So they are reading about Proverbs. And then sometimes you have also examples given in the books, stories. So it is a good thing to learn about proverbs from different countries, to know their meanings and how they can be applied in our daily life. Now let's move on to the next slide. These actions speak louder than words. Now, the meaning is written here. It is what we do that matters and not just what we say. Now, you have heard of another proverb that goes like this: empty vessels make the most sound. Now, some people, they can talk a lot, but they don't do the actions. They say, I can do this. I can help the Buddhist Association. I can carry out the task. Talk a lot, but they don't do. So in time to come, they will have a bad name. People will know that, they just like to talk only. They never carry out the actions. So actually, what is more important is what you do. Right? Now, if you promise something, if you say something about a job or a task or a project that you want to do, you have to make sure that you carry out the work or the task. Otherwise, in time to come, people will not trust you. You will have a bad name. People will label you as not trustworthy, not responsible, right? Tidak boleh dipercayai lah. So that is very important. I think if you read the papers, you know there are many, I wouldn't say all lah, but there are many politicians, wow, they can speak very fluently, especially in campaigns. They can promise this, they can promise that, very impressive, so that people can vote for them. But they hardly do the things. They don't carry out their duties properly. Not good work done when they are elected. Then in time to come, people will vote them out. So it is what we do that matters and not just what we say or promise. So that is something very important. Now this one is one of the most important. As you sow, you shall reap. It's very interesting. Like for example, you are a farmer and then you plant rambutan seeds. Do you expect to get durian trees? Of course you don't, isn't it? What you sow, what you plant, you will get accordingly. If you plant certain seeds, you get the fruits corresponding. Mango seeds, you get mango trees later on. Now, the important thing is in Buddhism, what we call the law of karma. Do good and good will come upon you. Do bad and the bad will come upon you. As the meaning goes here, one's actions, whether good or bad, determine one's rewards or punishments. As I said, I've done quite a number of presentations on this. Good begets good, bad begets bad. Now you see this very interesting video clip. This person is aggressive, a bully, and doing a wrong action. So, he tries to either bully or, cause harm, pain to others, and he himself immediately will get the pain, So he kicks the person and then he falls down and he suffers the pain. Now, this is just a video clip. But sometimes you see the karma can ripen very fast. Right? You do something bad, not long later you will get the bad effects or the punishments. Sometimes it's longer wait. And if it does not happen in this life, it will happen in future lives. So remember not to do bad things. That's why the very important teaching in Buddhism, avoid evil, do good, and purify your mind. That is the teaching of all Buddhas. So as you sow, so you reap. So it's a very important thing, If you think and see, why is it that some people are, born into very rich families, some are born so intelligent, others are born so stupid and like morons, and then some are born so very pretty, beautiful, handsome, some are born so very ugly. Isn't it something for you to think about? It's not due to the God, that the God makes you intelligent, the God makes you beautiful. It's not like that. In Buddhism, we say it is karma. And actually, in the teachings, in the middle discourses, the scriptures, the Buddha did answer this question. Why a person is born rich? Previous lives, so he had actually done a lot of dana, right? And then also, some are so kind, they don't kill, they don't torture, so they are more healthy. And later on, when they get reborn, they have long lives and so on. So it's very important, this cause effect. So make sure you don't do bad actions. Always do good actions. The rewards or punishments will come accordingly in this life and also in future lives. So this is a very important proverb. Now, number 3, we have this: all that glitters is not gold. Which means that if you look at that proverb, anything that shines and maybe of the color of gold that glitters, that is very, very shiny. You can get an idea here, you see, the golden color. Well, it's not necessary to be gold. It could be fake gold, or it could be something else. Somebody wants to trick you, to cheat you. So be very careful. As the explanation is written here, not everything that looks precious or true turns out to be so. So we have to be very careful. And today you see a lot of these things, fake gold, right? Fake electronic goods, even fake rice, and then fake things that can be eaten one, but not really the true things. They resemble very, very closely, but actually they are made from, plastic, cardboard, and all those things because of people who are not honest, who are out to cheat. So be careful. All those things that appear to be very real, very true, authentic, may not be so. So you have to be careful and investigate. Otherwise, you will suffer the consequences. Like you buy something that is a fake thing, right? It's a branded, wow, very famous brand, Apple, of your iPhone, right? But it is not actually authentic. It's a fake. So after using this for a short while, it gets spoiled. So you have to be very careful. Many people fall victims to scams, con men, right? They tell you, if you invest in this, everything, you will become rich. You will get a lot of returns and so on. So they are so convincing, and they look through, they try to tell you something that you can easily fall into. They will have people testifying and saying, "Oh, it's true, I got rich, by investing in this." So you get cheated. Many, including educated ones, accountants, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, get cheated, conned by this sort of people who are not honest. So remember, everything that looks very true, that looks very precious, may not be so. You could be cheated. So be careful and always investigate. Now, let us look at the next one, which is after a storm comes a calm. Now, you know what a storm is when you have a storm, right? Maybe out in the ocean or even in the place where you have a storm, heavy rain, thunderstorm, all right? You have the rain pouring so terribly, can cause floods, and then can, wipe out houses, right? And damage a lot of property. Well, that is nature. Sometimes these things happen. But always remember that these things will not last. They will change. After that, the storm has to end. It cannot go on forever. So something better must follow an unpleasant event. So we must not lose hope. We must not be pessimistic. Ayo, say lo. Then you weaken your mind and you feel very terrible. You have to be patient. You have to be courageous and endure the hardship and do the best we can to make things easier. And some are so good, they even help other people during floods, during storms, during earthquakes even. So these are facts. Nothing goes on perfectly well all the time. Sometimes, you have hardship, but everything changes. That is impermanence. So you apply this, but sometimes you get sick. So if you are not patient, and then you don't have the wisdom, you complain, and then you create a lot of trouble at home. But be patient, you know that it will not go on forever. Right? Of course, you see the doctor, and after some time, you have to be patient. Then you will regain your health, the sickness will go. Isn't it? So whenever you fail in anything in your life. For example, you may fail in certain examinations, or you may later on fail in certain jobs. Do not be so overwhelmed, so sad, and so very sorrowful until some break down and have mental illnesses. Some commit suicide. You must always have this wisdom that nothing will go on. I will be patient. It will pass. I will try to get up again and try again. So you see, there is this very important saying, failure is not failure, but failure is failing to get up after you fall. So bearing in mind that everything changes, that we have a more positive and accepting attitude, then you'll be more peaceful. Remember the inventor Thomas Edison? He was the one that invented the electric bulb. So important, the electric bulbs, isn't it? And he tried so many times. He failed. I think he perhaps more than 500-600 times he failed, with something like a storm, so terrible. But a time will come when he will succeed, and that's what happens. Later on, he succeeded. So that type of attitude is very, very good. All right, unpleasant things don't last, and you will change. They will change, and likewise also, good things also cannot last forever. They are impermanent. They will change. So when they change, you must be willing to accept. So it goes on like this. Very important. Now we go on to this proverb. The best fish swim near the bottom. Look at this beautiful video clip. You actually see near the bottom of an ocean or a sea, and you have beautiful, those who, for example, do scuba diving, who study marine biology or marine science, you find that at the depths of the ocean or the sea, you have fantastic, beautiful things. And you have some of those fishes, which are very, very beautiful, colorful. They are not the freshwater fish. That's why you see that in marine aquariums, where they keep the aspects, the saltwater fish, and they are very, very colorful and beautiful. So this proverb says, the best fish swim near the bottom. But the important thing is now to understand the meaning. And the meaning is, the finest things are hard to get. So which is very true. Now let me give you an example. Let us say a fantastic thing is to win a gold in the Olympics. But it is not easy to get the gold, right? Compared to maybe there's a school sport, then you get the trophy. So it's very difficult, but it is very, very fantastic, a great achievement. And to get that, you have to put in the effort. There must be training. So nothing valuable, nothing of great value comes without effort, without diligence, without determination and perseverance. So you look also at the Nobel Prize winners. To win a Nobel Prize in various fields like physics, chemistry, medicine, this requires a lot of hard work, determination, in order to get the glory, the fantastic achievements. They are hard to get, but not impossible, but requires a lot of good qualities, one of which is determination, and the other is patience, and then very important, hard work, perseverance. So when we look at this, we can think about Dhamma practice also. So, the goal of Buddhist, and the goal of practice is to get enlightenment. Enlightenment is the highest goal of Buddhism. And it is not something so easy to get, but it can be obtained. Can be attained just like the Buddha struggled for 6 years. Previous lives he had cultivated also. So in the 6 years, he struggled, worked so hard, practiced, right? Even practiced asceticism, torturing himself to get that thing that is enlightenment, which is very hard to get. But in the end, he succeeded. So when you think about this, you do not give up. When you want to reach a certain level of your mind through your meditation, through your learning of the Dhamma, do not just give up like this. You struggle on, persist, diligence, patience, perseverance, then you attain. Easy things don't need that much hard work lah. Dana is the easiest lah. You donate some money. It's good also, but it is not as meritorious as, for example, meditation. It is good. You must do dana also. So you can see this conveys a very important message. Now comes another very important point, which has fantastic Dhamma. The proverb reads, the best of friends must part. This actually in Dhamma, we know as anicca, impermanence, change. Nothing can go on forever, as all things change. It's only nibbana that is not changing. When nibbana is the ultimate goal, it is there and doesn't change. It is that state of the mind that doesn't change. Everything else subjected to conditions and they will change. So likewise also, not only friendship will end, but also other things. You have a car, you have maybe very good motorbike or fantastic toys. They don't last. A day will come where these things either get lost or they get spoiled or they don't work anymore or they have problems already. So this is something you have to accept. And the loved ones also, right? Members of the family, and then also your relatives. And here, of course, it just talks about friends. So when you know that this is a fact of life, then you will not sink into terrible sorrow and pain until some cannot accept it and they commit suicide. Like for example, right? This person is a doctor, no? No, one day the girlfriend decided to leave him. This can happen, isn't it? So he cannot take that. He doesn't realize it's anicca, it's impermanent. Things can happen. Things can change. So, you know how he did? He committed suicide by jumping down from a high building. Some, of course, commit suicide by taking insecticides or other types of poison. And that, of course, is terrible. It's a foolish act. So when we see the Dhamma that this is a fact of life, things will change. So at first, maybe you feel some pain, but if you have more Dhamma and wisdom, then you have less suffering, less pain. You accept it, and then you move on in life. You may get other friends, you may get other things also, and these two will change also. So you just be concerned more with the present and don't worry so much about what is to come. When it comes, you accept it, and then try your best to move on, so nothing remains the same. So this is something we have to bear in mind. Oh, you know, there are people who go to casinos and then they gamble. Wow, they have great wins, win thousands and thousands of dollars. So they think, oh, you can go on like that. So they keep on going. A day will come, a time will come where they lose everything. And some cannot take it, commit suicide, jump down from the high-rise building. Of course, I'm not saying that gambling is good. So it's actually, we don't encourage it because, there are terrible things that can happen if a person becomes addicted to gambling. So nothing can go on forever as all things change. So then you will strive on in your Dhamma practice because you are having a goal of Nibbana that doesn't change, it's unconditioned. Right? Now let us go on to the next one. And this one, it says, better safe than sorry. Or if you want to say, it is better to be safe than sorry. Like for example, it is obvious that now in this pandemic time, there are certain things we have to be careful, SOP, standard operation procedure, right? So you have to wear the mask, then you have to have social distancing, physical distancing, wash your hands. So some people are rash. Rash means reckless, hasty, foolhardy, impulsive. They act or do without careful consideration of possible consequences. So they say, don't bother lah, no need to wear masks lah, and then get into the crowds during this pandemic. Then one day, or time may come, you get infected and you get serious sicknesses, then you suffer because you are rash. So it's preferable to be cautious, to be careful, than to be rash, to be reckless, hasty, foolhardy, impulsive. This rashness can get you into trouble. Many things are like this. You look at examples like, people, right, who, wow, they are so impulsive, so rash. They go out into the thunderstorm, the rain, and play football. They are never mind one. Then they catch terrible cold, pneumonia. So it's better to be safe than sorry. You say, I'm very strong. I can withstand all those. My immunity is very good one. So that is foolhardiness. Foolhardy, hasty, reckless, rash. So remember this very important lesson, to be careful and cautious, right? Whenever you are not very certain, you should take the safer course of action. To play it safe, they say, right? It's not that you are a coward. You are wise. You are not foolhardy. As you see, Mat Rampit, I'll talk a little bit more later on. Wow, you see, Mat Rampit riding in foolish ways, so reckless. This proverb says, don't ride the high horse. And the message is, one should not be arrogant. One should not be proud. There is a very important proverb that goes like this. Pride goes before pride goes before a fall. If you have a fall, you will trace it, very often it's due to your self-pride. You think very highly of yourself that you can do it, but actually you are not wise. That's why you have that proverb, pride goes before a fall. Now the video clip shows very clearly, this teenager maybe, right, is advised not to mount that horse because it is wild and it's also quite a big high horse. But she doesn't want to listen. She feels that I can. Just like this this girl also, maybe a secondary school student. People advise, the parents and the elders advise not to ride this horse. I say, I can, I'm capable. Actually, it's self-pride, arrogant. Want to show off to other people. So you can see what happens. Right? She gets thrown down from the horse. So this is a very important message, that we must not be proud, arrogant, be humble, listen to the wise people's advice or your parents' advice, think carefully, consider things, consider the likely consequences if you carry out the action, which may be risky, may be dangerous. You find today you have so many doing this, as I said just now, the rampant. They don't consider other people. They are not careful. They act without thinking of other people, without thinking of the possible consequences of endangering their lives. So you have rampant riders, wow, show off, even secondary students rampant, ride the motorbike so fast and doing all the stunts, and accidents happen. So that is riding the high horse, very arrogant, proud, and then foolish. So this actually is all due to education. They must be educated from young. And then the other thing is they get into bad company. And that also brings about terrible consequences. So do not associate with fools, important thing also. So this is about arrogance and pride. This pertains to this. Proverbs says, the early bird catches the worm. Of course, birds like to feed on worms. So, maybe early in the morning, all right, they will go to places and look for the food, maybe on certain grounds and so on. They look for the worms. So, of course, many will be competing. So, there are some, right, who go earlier. Then they catch the worms. This is just a problem. But the message is fantastic. The message is very good. It's about the point, the important issue of procrastination. Now, procrastination means to postpone things, They don't do things promptly. They try to postpone, do later. And that is not a good habit. Some people, they have projects, they have homework, they don't do promptly. They say, never mind. And then after that, they forget. They go to school without doing the homework, and then also without, passing up the project on time. So what happens? Of course, you will face the music. In other words, you may get low marks, you may even fail. Whereas the person who acts promptly and the person who doesn't procrastinate, to postpone things, and does his best and so on, then of course he gets what he desires. Good marks, success, praises from the teachers. People look up to you that you are a person who is punctual, who is prompt, who doesn't dilly-dally, who doesn't procrastinate. So you earn a name and respect also. So this is a very important thing. And it actually applies in many, many situations. Some people are in the habit of not acting promptly, like to procrastinate. And then, they forget to pay the bills, they forget to do a task and thereby, disappointing other people whom they promised to do the task. And then also, they don't carry out certain things that they should carry out. I remember, in the for 25 years or so, I was giving you call it tuition, but actually it's class bimbingan, community, the guidance classes, community project in PBHP. I used to teach English and chemistry. So every time, before a certain time, a date, I will put up the notice to ask them to apply, because we have to select, there'll be hundreds and we have to select. So we put up the notice asking them to take the forms, fill in the forms properly and hand in by a certain date. There are some, they don't even look at the notice. They're so careless, And then some take the forms, but they dilly-dally. They don't fill up the forms until the closing date is over. So already you don't accept because there are so many ahead of you, isn't it? So they face the consequences, and the parents get very, very angry, at them being so careless. So it's very good to do things promptly and not dilly-dallying and not postpone. Never mind, later on, still 2 or 3 weeks, closing date, you forget. And then we select according to certain criteria, people who serve the association, librarians, youth members, DYC, Dhamma youth camps, who have served, we give them preference. Then after that, it will be the order of first come, first serve. So those who send in earlier, they will get priority also, compared to those who send later. Of course, those who are completely off the mark, that means beyond the target date, out. So you see, it's a very good proverb to think about. Now this easy come, easy go. Easy come, easy go. I think, it's quite a cute way of saying things that come very, very easily, they can also just go off from you easily. Look at this interesting clip. Right, this is maybe you can think of it either as a bird or maybe a box to save money or whatever lah. Now you see the bird or whatever it is, the money goes from the top opening, and then at the base there is a opening also. So easy coming in, easy going out also. Whereas if effort is put in, right, to get the thing, and then also you put in effort to prevent money from falling out so easily, then it won't happen. This is just a video clip. But now let's look at it in more detail. Easy come, easy go. The meaning is written here. What is acquired without effort, especially money, is likely to be lost. And this has happened to many people. I'm not saying that all rich families are like that, but there have been cases, where the parents are very, very rich and they give the children so much money, even expensive motorbikes, even cars, students. There are students, they are so lucky to get that. So they don't put the effort, spend lavishly. I've heard of students who have got scholarships in the universities. So a lot of money, more than enough. So easy come, the money, is being given through the scholarship. So it's not that it's not the money you earn, it's just it's coming in like that. You don't put in any hard work. And then you know what they do? They just spend the money lavishly, change motorbikes, buy the latest iPhone, and then go touring to places that are so expensive, even though they have not started earning or working. So in time to come, the money goes off. And now, for example, in this pandemic time, there are people without jobs and they don't have savings. So it's a very important lesson. Easy come, easy go. And some inherit how many houses because the parents have the will, they pass away already, and then they pass these things all to the sons. And the sons, easy come, the money are all there, so they are not working very, very hard. So time will come, it's very easy, Mara forces are there. They will go the crooked ways, gamble, go to the bar drinking, and then women wine song, as they say, when they grow up. When they are older, not you, right? Then what happens? They can become bankrupt. As today you read of cases, rich people, millionaires have become bankrupt also because money has not been earned by the toil and sweat, by hard work. But there are parents who are very, very wise. They don't give that much. They say they have to earn. And there was, it was just a story about this son asking the father, he wants a car, he wants this, he wants that. The father said, no, you just leave. Because the father had come out to be a millionaire through the hard way, earning money through hard work, sweating, My grandfather was like that also. He came from China with hardly a cent. And he worked hard and so on and became very, very wealthy. So the parents said no. So the son was very, very angry. But then what to do? The parents are very strict. So he had to work hard, and during the holidays also, he told his parents, I will try to, have a part-time job. Say, okay, you can go. And later on, right, he became very, very successful. He became a millionaire also through his hard work, and he treasures what he has earned, and he is thankful to the parents for not spoiling him, spoiling the children. So there was this one is probably a joke. So this particular young man, as usual, very, very fortunate for one who comes from a very wealthy family. And the father sent him to another country overseas, maybe Australia, for his university education. And easy come, easy go, because he has the money. So he spent lavishly, giving treats to the girlfriends, going for dance parties, and so on, until he very often runs out of money. Then he will write back. The time I suppose no email or things like that. So he writes back. He say, oh, telegram. Telegram is a very, very short message and he can send. So he sent a telegram. He says, dear daddy, no more, no man, no fun, your son. No man means no money lah. No man, no fun, your son. That means no money, no fun already, that's your son. The father wanted to teach him a lesson. He said, dear son, so sad, too bad, your dad. So sad to hear it, too bad, your daddy never sent him the money. He has already sent him the money sufficient already, no more extra already. That is a good lesson for him. To be prudent, to be careful, not be just a spendthrift and so on. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Now, tread means to go along a certain path in a certain way, to trade, to move along a certain path. Now, fools, the gong tai tai or the bodoh, the people who are bodoh or foolish, stupid, right? Cannot think wisely and clearly. These are the people. They will rush in where angels. Now, angels are the devas. They have goodness, they have wisdom, and they know it's dangerous not to do. So, these fools, so they rush in for that thing and they suffer. Now, let's look at the meaning before I give you the example. The rash or inexperience will attempt things that wiser people are more cautious of. Wise people, they think what are the possible consequences, whether it is proper and wise to do that thing or not, and not just on an impulse, rush in. But of course, they have experience. But these rash people, they don't want to listen also actually. Not only that, they don't have experience. And you can have many examples. There was this case, right, of a young person going with the friends to the waterfalls. Waterfalls are very dangerous areas. You have to be very careful. There are rocks and stones, and the water can be flowing quite swiftly. So he was rash. So he climbed up to a higher point, and then he was not cautious, impulsive, reckless, hasty, foolhardy. Just now we mentioned this already. So he did something without careful consideration of the possible consequences. So what did he do? Maybe to impress the girls or the friends. So he jumped down to take a dive, a dive from a higher point in the waterfall area, and then he banged onto a huge rock. And you know what? Until today, he's paralyzed. Why paralyzed? Because of rushing in where angels fear to tread. Whereas wise people, they would think very clearly, consider, oh, that is very dangerous. You see the water flowing and the rocks everywhere, everything. So I have to consider, right? I'm also not an experienced person. So he is wise, he's cautious. This is a very good example to explain the problem. And there are people who go for extreme sports, bungee diving. I'm not saying that you can't. You must know the risk involved, and you must have the experience, the guide, and so on. Right, like people doing parachuting, those extreme sports. Whereas some very impulsive. They have not learned and not trained, and they go in already. Wow, my friends can, I remember there was this case of a man. He's also foolish, right? He has the pride there. So he went to Disneyland in Los Angeles, America. So in Disneyland, you have all sorts of fun rides. And one of the quite dangerous ones is the roller coaster. Now you can get it in Genting, I suppose. But some roller coasters are, I wouldn't want to try it because I know I wouldn't just rush in. So the roller coaster, of course, there are people who are young, and you have the advice given that they are, there are notices, you can, and so on. But this fella is about maybe nearly 50 years old already. So he sees the other young people, so he also rush in to queue up, especially when there are other people who egg him on. Say, hey, you can, uncle. You don't have to worry on that. Very easy on that. Whereas if you have a wise person like Angel, you say, I am of age, right? I have some maybe cardiac problem and so on. So no, I will not do it. I will not attempt this sort of thing. I'm more cautious. But no, he just rushed in together with the rest. And at the end of the coaster ride, he ended up in hospital in LA, right? So he cannot enjoy the rest of the tour already. So this is another example of fools rush in, the angels here to trade. Now, this last of the 12 Proverbs says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Now, I think I've taken this, the English structure should be a journey of 1,000 miles better. There should be an article, a journey of 1,000 miles. This one I took it from the internet without editing. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That will be better. And actually, this is attributed to the famous philosopher Lao Tzu. Right? Lao Tzu had said this also, but actually other people have said this also. This is a very important proverb that tells us important Dhamma points. Howsoever big a task, it starts with a small step. So, even though a task or a project or something you want to do, your ambition to realize, it may appear very big, but you must not be frightened, must not be lacking in courage that you can achieve it, even though it's a big task. And we take the step, one step at a time. Let's say you want to become a doctor or maybe an engineer or whatever, right? And say, wow, people come, you the one very difficult, no, this and that, discourage you. But that's your ambition. So you say, I will take that challenge step by step. So he works hard in the secondary school, primary, secondary, and then Form 6. And then he gets to the university step by step. Then at last he realizes his ambition. So nothing great can achieve if you don't venture out with courage, with determination, with confidence, and with, as I say, patience, very important. And if you look at history, you see some of the great explorers or the great inventors and scientists. They embark on a certain project, like maybe an explorer, wanting to try to explore, just like, to go to America. The first time Christopher Columbus, who discovered America, long distance, he sailed from Europe. So if we were to think, wow, so far away, so difficult, then he will not do it. Whereas he says, I will do my best. Everything starts with a single step. There's a start. So he has that confidence, he has that determination, he has the patience, he has the perseverance. So carries on, and in the end he succeeds. So when you come to Dhamma, you have to have that sort of attitude. Now, before we go to the Dhamma practice, let's look at the student. As I gave you the example, if he wants to realize his ambition, he has to start from the beginning, or maybe primary school itself, and step by step. He doesn't worry worry about the future, whether I can get it or not, and so on. And he doesn't also worry about the past. Last time when he was in kindergarten, he was not hardworking and so on. Forget about that. Just starting today, present moment, start the good work step by step. Right? So when you do that, step by step, just take care of the day today, and tomorrow or the future will take care of itself. No point worrying or regret what is past. That is a very important Dhamma teaching. So that's about the student. Now let us, before that I want to tell you one episode, right? About this student. I told him, he was my student way back in the 70s. I was a form teacher in the lower six, very brilliant student. He had all the good qualities, handsome, very active in extracurricular sport and so on. Form 5, I think he got nearly all A's. So when he was in Form 6, I noticed that he was not hardworking. So I called him up as a form teacher. I said, you have to, work hard from the start. No, step by step, you start. You don't worry, Mr. O. Form 5, I just studied the last few months only. And then I got all A's. I think Form 6, I think give maybe 6 months. I say you can't. You have to start from the beginning, step by step, be hardworking. He didn't want to follow the advice. So in the end, when he went to upper 6 and when the results came out, he got lousy results. Donkeys and elephants, that means D's and E's. He couldn't get into the universities in Malaysia. So I think the father quite rich, sent him overseas. So that is this important thing is start step by step with determination, patience, confidence, perseverance. I repeat the important things. Now, in terms of Dhamma practice, the greatest goal, the final goal of the Buddhist is Nibbana, enlightenment. And you say, wow, so difficult, so far away, so difficult everything. Now, you must not have that type of thinking. You say, okay, I will set on the path to achieve the final goal. But as I go along, a lot of benefits can come, isn't it? So then what is your path? The path is the most important, the Noble Eightfold Path. I'm not giving a talk on Noble Eightfold Path now. So that is the most important. So you start from young. Best is from Sunday school also. And some of the students are doing quite well. They've learned a lot of good things and following. But sad to say, the attendance has dropped. Those days we used to have 300, 400. Now, due to the parents, perhaps the students get distracted by the smartphones, by YouTube, Facebook, all sorts of things, Mara forces. So they don't want to come and learn the Dhamma from young. So when you learn the thing, then you start. You start practicing, like, dana, which is charity, and then to observe the precepts, start off step by step, and even simple meditation. Then in the end, the step by step will become reaching the goal already. You have like as if walk 1,000 miles already, starting with a step by step. Just this cartoon will show you step by step, and it's just being mindful and aware of the step by step. So this is a very important proverb with very good life lessons as well as Dhamma teachings. Now we have come to the end of this presentation of 12 proverbs where we have studied, reflected, and given you examples. I hope you have benefited I personally feel there are many, many good things. And I conclude by one more proverb, very simple to remember. No pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. And the meaning is this. It is necessary to suffer. Suffer actually here it means to bear with some hardship, to bear with some pain, discomfort, to bear with some trouble. So it's necessary to suffer or work hard in order to succeed or make progress. This is very true in Dhamma practice. If you want to succeed by maybe, reaching a good level in your mind, maybe to reach first stage of sainthood now, Sotapanna, or to become more peaceful, to succeed in becoming more peaceful and happy, you think you don't have to work hard and be patient and bear with some pain. Like meditation, you have to bear with some pain, but you can get the good results, right? You have to sacrifice certain things and you have to take the trouble. You have some hardship, definitely, isn't it? You have to make sacrifices. When a person practices meditation, for example, or even let us say now following the presentation or listening to the Dhamma, you say, wow, I'm really suffering. You have to sit down patiently and so on. Of course, you need that sacrifice and you need that endurance, that patience, that determination, that discipline. Do that, then step by step, you begin to progress until you succeed. Wow. Along the path, you will already gradually get the benefits, the happiness, the peace. So isn't that wonderful? So remember this proverb, no pain, no gain. There's another proverb, I think it's a Japanese proverb. He that wants the fruit must climb the tree. You want to have the fruit, you climb the tree. But I find this is easier to remember, even no pain, no gain. So likewise, in your life, whenever you hardship, then you put in your best effort and struggle, then you will have the gain. So in your study and later on in your work, and very important and more concerned with is in your Dhamma practice. So let us make this important message. Be diligent in your learning. You can then gain many a thing. This is a couplet in the form of rhymes. This I coined this. Be diligent means be hardworking in your learning. Learning of your schoolwork, knowledge of the world. Most important is learning the Dhamma, right? Diligent. Then you can gain many a thing. Of course, in the worldly things, you gain things like some wealth. Right? Nothing wrong also. Use it in the right way, and then you gain knowledge. You gain certain things are worldly things. But most important is you gain from the Dhamma point of view. You gain what? You gain more happiness. You gain more peace. And then you gain more calmness, tranquility of the mind. And finally, you gain the highest thing, and that is Nibbana. In between, then you gain many, many things. So therefore, you have to be diligent in your Dhamma learning and practice. Then you can gain many a thing. So we have come to the end of this presentation. It's coming to 1 hour, even though with 12 proverbs. I was thinking of taking 20 proverbs. That would be too long. So I decided to choose 12 for you to learn. You might have heard of it, and then to practice. You can share this with your friends and meritorious action. So before we say sadhu 3 times, I would like to thank all of you. Without you, students as the audience, then it's pointless for me to give any Dhamma sharing. So all the students who are following and all the youth members, I would like to say thank you. And also thank you to the parents and grandparents who also play a very important role to guide their children or even their relatives and so on. And of course, to the teachers, right? Thank you to all the teachers of the Buddhist Sunday School Dhamma classes. So thank you for putting in the effort and spending the time to follow this presentation. So let us conclude by saying sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Take care.